Hello students, we are still on logarithm. Now we are moving on gradually. Look at this. Let's look at this example. Evaluate the cube root of 218 over 3.12 using logarithm tables. Now in this situation, we are having 218 over 3.12, everything cube root. So when you look for the logarithm of 218, you look for the logarithm of 3.12, you subtract them because this is division. After subtracting, everything is cube root. You now divide the final answer by 3 before you now look for the antilog. Let's go to see how it's going to be done. So now you have to write your number and log. So 218. So 218, look for logarithm of 218. So the decimal point is taken to be after this 8. Move it how many times? 1, 2. So that means you are having what? 2 point. Look for the logarithm of 21 under 8. So 21 under 8 gives you 3385. Now come to 3.12. 3.12. Because you are not moving the decimal point, it's going to be what? 0. So look for logarithm of 31 under 2. When you look for logarithm of 31 under 2, you get 4942. So because these two are dividing each other, you are going to subtract their logarithm. When you subtract their logarithm, you get 1.8443. And since you are having cube root, anytime you are having the root of number, you are going to divide. So everything is cube root. So that means you divide their final logarithm by 3. When you divide by 3, you get 0.6148. 0.6148. Then from here you can now look for the antilog. The antilog will be 0.61 under 4, difference of 8, which will give you 4114. Since this is 0, you are not going to move the decimal point, it will remain here. So that means you are having 4.119. Now let's look at another example. You are given evaluate 36.12 cube times 750.9 over 113.2 square times the square root of 92.55. Now this is what you are going to do. You are going to look for logarithm of this, of 36.12. Because this is having power, you multiply by 3. Then you look for the logarithm of 750.9. Now because this you are having these two on the numerator, you are multiplying. Since it is multiplying, you are going to add their logarithm. So that's that for the numerator. You now come to the denominator, 113.2 square. So because this is square, you look for the logarithm of this, you multiply the logarithm by 2. Then for this one, the square root of 92.5. Since you look for logarithm of this one, then because you are looking for the square root, you divide by 2. Then because both of them are multiplying, you add their logarithm. Then the numerator divided by the denominator, the final answer you get for the numerator, the final answer you get for the denominator, you subtract them because they are dividing before you now look for the anti-logarithm. Now let us see how it's going to be done. So here you can rule through, have 3 columns. So you have number, workings and log. Now first of all, you look for the logarithm of 36.12. So how many times are you moving this? 1.36 under 1, difference of 2, which will give us 5577. Because this one is having the power of 3, you are going to because it is having the power of 3, you will multiply by 3, which will give us 4.6731. Then you come to 750.9. 750.9 You look for the logarithm. How many times will you move this one? 1, 2. That means you're having 2 points. Now look for the logarithm of 75 under 0, difference of 9, which will give you 8756. Because the numerator, you have to multiply them, you are going to add their logarithms. So when you add the logarithms, you are going to have 7.5487. So for you now write the answer for the logarithm here. Then you come to the denominator. You are having 113.2 square. Look for the logarithm of 113.2. 113.2. 113.2. How many times we move this? 1, 2. That's 2 points. Look for the logarithm of 11 under 3, difference of 2. Which should give us 0.539. Because this is having the power of 2. You multiply by 2. So that means you get 4.1078. Now you are going to look for, you having root of 92.5. 92.5. So first of all, you look for the logarithm of 92.5. You move decimal point once, 1 point. Now look for the logarithm of 92 under 5, which should give us 9661. Because this is the square root. Because you are having a square root here, you divide by 2. When you divide 1.9661 by 2, you are going to have 0.9831. Because the denominator is multiplying each other, you are going to add the denominators together. So that means you have 5.0909. So you write it here. Now the numerator is divided by the denominator. Since division is being involved, you subtract the numerator and the denominator. So when you subtract them, you are going to have 2.4578. So now for the final answer here, you are now going to use it to look for the antilog. Open to the antilogarithm table. 0.45 under 7, difference of 8. 0.45 under 7, difference of 8. So you get 2869. Because this is 2, is the decimal point taken to be after this 2. So move it how many times? 2 times. 1, 2. So you're having 286.9 to be the final answer. So for the work practice, evaluate the following using logarithm table. Number 1, 2.96 squared times 8.542. Number 2, you're having 95.32 divided by 8.971, everything squared. Number 3, the cube root of 218 times 37.2 divided by 95.43. Number 4, 17.2 squared times 4.93 divided by the cube root of 6,750,000. Number 5, 38.32 times 2.964, everything divided by 8.637 times 6.285, everything squared. Then you now find the cube root of all. So make sure you like, subscribe and comment on this video. Thank you.